Hi, welcome back to our discussion about nutrition facts labels. Today I'm going to talk about potassium, which is one of the new additions to the mandatory vitamin and minerals. So we're all very familiar with the idea that diets that are high in sodium are bad for your health because they lead to heart disease. And that's been made very clear by the government and messaging and marketing. But it turns out that the best thing we can do to prevent heart disease is to actually have diets that are low in sodium and high in potassium. And the ratio we're looking for is about 1:3, meaning we want 3 times as much potassium as sodium. So if we're getting about 1,500 milligrams a day of sodium, we're gonna need 4,500 milligrams a day of potassium. And so the nutrition facts label is now drawing attention to potassium so we can know for sure how much we're getting. So when you hear the word potassium, most people think automatically of bananas because they are a good source of potassium. But fortunately, there are so many other things, fruits, vegetables, and dairy products that we can eat to help us reach that 4,500 milligram threshold, found in things like beans and leafy greens. Spinach and broccoli, the things that our kids love eating, right? I know. But even if your kids aren't huge fans of those, the good news is that potassium is in lots of fruit. So you can get it from oranges, cantaloupe, and yes, those bananas, they're still a good source of potassium. Sodium, on the other hand, tends to be found in food that's highly processed, meaning foods that come in bags and boxes. It also gets added into things that are canned as kind of a preservative. So when you're purchasing products that come in bags, boxes, or cans, it's always a good idea to just scan the label and to take a quick look at both the potassium and the sodium. And both of those are required to be listed on the label. And now in stores, you'll often find canned goods that are labeled either low sodium or no salt added. And again, it's always a good idea to just take a quick peek on the side and just check the label and see when it says low sodium, like what is the sodium content? When it says no salt added, what is the sodium content? Sodium is a necessary micronutrient, so we don't have to get down to 0, but it's always a good idea to just have an idea of how much we are eating every day. The other good news is that very little of our daily sodium tends to come from salt we add into our food through the cooking process, which means one of the best ways to help our kids eat a diet that is both low in sodium and high in potassium is by cooking with them. So that's just a quick overview of sodium and the new addition of potassium. And I will be back next week to finish up our discussion about micronutrients.